The tape, let's grind. Shut up. The tape. Let's grind. The tape. We do a little bit different around here.
We ain't gonna play. Shut up and grind the tape.
The tape, let's grind.
We ain't gonna play. Them dogs in your face.
Let's grind.
We ain't gonna play. Shut up and grind the tape.
The tape, let's grind.
We ain't gonna play. Them dogs in your face. Shut up and grind.
Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape.
The tape, let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Shut up and grind. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape.
The tape,
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro.
the tape.
UGA game day, boy, we ball out. Pull up, put the whole conference in the doghouse. Leave them 6 feet, see me on the win streak. All-star status, go coach, and the bench deep. Right. Offense on 10, how we run it? Your best ain't nothing, we gon' send them boys punting. Black and red, got them dead on arrival. Defense, hunker down for the tie. Hey, you don't want it with the dogs. Film guy on it, you don't want it with my dog. Break it down, play by play, that's the day-to-day. They know we ain't come to play, boy, it's UGA. Kirby Smart, I cannot play the fool. Back to back, we did not come to lose. Back to back, like we got something to prove. Pay your dues, dog nation on the move. What's up?
We do a little bit different around here.
We ain't gonna play. Shut up and grind the tape.
The tape.
We ain't gonna play. Them dogs in your face.
Let's grind.
We ain't gonna play. Shut up and grind the tape.
Shut up. Let's grind.
We ain't gonna play. Them dogs in your face. Shut up and grind.
Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape.
The
Shut
tape.
up and grind.
Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Shut up and grind. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape. Shut up and grind. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro.
Shut up.
Do anything for it.
The tape.
I ain't got no problem with it. I promise you that shit.
Listen to the words. Garbage, a joke, clown acts, pisses me off. No, come find me. No, come find me. Listen to the words. Come find me. Garbage, a joke, clown acts, pisses me off.
I ain't hard guy to find. I promise you that shit.
Listen to the words. Garbage, a joke, clown acts, pisses me off. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome in to the Film Guide Network on a fabulous Sunday afternoon here in the studio. You know how it is on a Sunday during college football season. Your boy is in here solo in the studio, giving you the best reaction show on the internet. I truly believe that. All right, when you get into journalism, not that I went into journalism school, but when you get into journalism, they will teach you what? The who, what's, how, whys, and whens, all the questions as to what you're going out to solve. This channel right here is to answer one question only. Why? Why is my football team good? Why is my football team poop? Why did my football team win? Why did my football team lose? There's going to be a lot of people on the internet that give you the what. We are here today to give you the why. That is what Sunday is for on this network, and really what this network is all about. If you are new to this channel, if this is your first day locking in with us on a live show, welcome in. We appreciate you. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button and firing off in the chat. But that's what this place is about. This place is about explaining the why, whether it be here on this Sunday show or right after this when we record about 15 film studies it feels like, okay? I got notes, I got observations, I got takes, all that and above here on a loaded show for you guys on a Sunday. Number one goal on this network, explain the why. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button, like, subscribe, rate, review, and firing off in the chat. We got a loaded one for you. Ole Miss takes a front seat in a college football playoff discussion that is going to begin and start to take shape this week in the SEC. Bama escapes a bad day for them and a really good day from South Carolina on the other end. Texas comes back down from 17 points in the fourth, outscores Mississippi State 24-0 in the final 9 minutes in overtime in that football game. We'll talk about it today. Vandy beats Missouri in a rock fight. All right. I felt like we'll talk about it when we get there, but man, I was like watching a wrestling match. I felt like Tennessee rolls out there in Lexington, despite the fact that their defense wanted to make that one interesting. And I was glad they did, because I thought Joey damn near might throw for 600 in that one. The Big Ten goes straight up chalk, as you can see it in the title today. And we have side quest on Sunday's show, as always. But I want to start, however, in Death Valley, where there are plenty of dead bodies, as A&M goes into that place and wins 49-25. And I don't know about you guys, but I felt like they could have won that SOB 69-18 in the back end of that one. I mean, yeah, LSU scored some garbage time touchdowns to break that stat of being the only Power 4 team in America to not score 24-plus points against Power 4 teams. Excuse me. They're one of two teams prior to last night that had that stat, them and North Carolina. They break that stat by getting 25 points thanks to a garbage time touchdown late in this football game. But, man, what an absolute steamrolling by Texas A&M. And I'm not going to lie, we kind of called it. The only tweet that banged yesterday, the only tweet that was like, dang, Brooksy's curse ain't here today. I thought A&M had a chance to roll in that football game, and that's exactly what they did. Let's start with the credit. There are a lot of Texas A&M football teams that in years prior, I think, fold in that football game because Lord knows LSU had every opportunity to roll, right? Every opportunity to take that football game and go with it, right? They have the lead at the half, and then right after half, because Marcel Reed, I mean, just giving it to him. But I think there's so many A&M football teams. There's a lot of A&M fans listening today and tuned in and locked into the network. Shout out to you guys. But there are a lot of A&M football teams that after back-to-back interceptions and a fumble, right? Even before the interception, the snap that hits off of Marcel Reed that completely chunks a possession, we have that. And then we have a red zone interception that was just like, man, we can't do that. And then we have a great play by number 4, the corner from LSU, tips that ball up in the air, and then Harold Perkins ends up with an interception. There are so many A&M football teams and so many football teams in college football today. We don't even got to make it about A&M and their history, but there are so many football teams that fold right then and there, that just completely cave in within themselves on the road in an environment like that. And how does A&M answer? Well, they answer like champions do. They go out in the second half and they go 9 plays touchdown, 3 plays and out, punt return, touchdown, 6 plays and out, touchdown, 3 plays and out, touchdown, rolling their butt in the second half. That's how champions absolutely answer in those types of situations. And that's why I don't think this is the A&M of old. This isn't like one of those things. I know Kirby is going to come in tomorrow and maybe he finally gives them their flowers, but this is not that football team that in years prior crumbles in those situations. And there are so many that would in that moment on the road at LSU. Again, back-to-back interceptions after a completely chalked possession. So 3 straight offensive possessions, they not only give it back, but just have horrendous results, right? That normally cripples a football team, but it did not. I felt like Colin Klein absolutely gutted Blake Baker every single time that dude blitzed. So their blitz pickup periods this week in practice must have been phenomenal because there wasn't y'all tell me, was there a single free runner from LSU last night? What do I mean by free runner? A guy that very clearly they did not identify as a potential threat that ended up coming and then hitting Marcel Reed. I don't think of a single one. I can't. My memory does not bring me a single blitz Saturday night where LSU or A&M felt as if they were caught off guard. They cleaned it all up. They got it all picked up. All right. And the other thing on that is they blitzed a lot, did LSU, but LSU is a man-to-man football team. Anybody who has watched them on tape, anybody who's watched them on football, like on TV copy this year, you ain't even got to watch them on tape, can probably tell you that. They play a buttload of man-to-man coverage because they probably got the best corner unit and arguably like longest safety unit in college football. But A&M knew, like, we don't have to beat the corners. They're great. We don't have to beat them. We got slots and tight ends that can just absolutely work the middle of the field. That's exactly what they did. They worked eye discipline. They worked rubs. They worked crossers. And then guess what? They had answers for off of that. I mean, I thought Colin Klein was absolutely in his bag. And for me, look, I'm gonna come on here and talk about your culture football team. That's a culture guy. That's not what I am, because I don't know these places. I've never been to A&M. I don't sit inside those meetings or inside those press conference rooms. I don't go to those practices. I don't talk to those coaches as much as I do every other program, right? Or some of these other programs that I'm much more regionally close to and regionally based, and I bump into all the time. I don't know this team, so I can't talk about them at full depth. But even as an outsider, it is very obvious to me that Mike Elko's culture is that of a winning culture. And you can look at two position groups and find out why and find out how. Look at their linebacker room. Their linebacker room has 4 or 5 guys, whether it be Torian York on down to Scooby Williams, who's finally getting healthy, whether it be 21, 23, 8, and 9, however many linebackers they play, all 5 of them, 54, they got 4 or 5 linebackers that could play all over this conference, not named Georgia, all over this place and all over the league. And they don't transfer. Most of those guys are old, too. Some of those guys are older upperclassmen that are giving reps to younger football players, and they don't bat an eye. Scooby Williams gets in for the first time in 4 or 5 weeks since he's been healthy, makes arguably the biggest defensive play in the game on third down. You look at their running back room, guys. Their running back room is so obvious. It's been this deep for years now. Again, points to the culture. Normally, these guys are out. Reuben Owens is a 5-star running back that gets minority carries in this backfield, and he's still there and happy with a smile on his face. All of them. Like last week, it was Emmitt Smith's little son, EJ, going out there and finishing fourth quarter runs against Arkansas. This week, they dust off number 23. I've never even heard of him. I've never seen him. Just carries, just walking the ball, just running all over through arm tackles, just, you know what I mean? Like, that right there, those two position groups in a day and age where, I ain't getting the ball. Well, I ain't getting majority of the playing time. The hell with this. I'm in the portal, or I'm unglued, or I'm not paying attention. And when my name is called, I'm not ready to execute. Again, I don't like talking about culture that I'm not a part of and that I don't know, but it's right there. It's right there for everybody in the world to see if you're paying close enough attention. If you're paying close enough attention, they got guys 4 and 5 deep on their depth chart, showing up in fourth quarters, locked the F in, not blinking, not once. The other thing about this offense, I know we just talked about the depth at running back, but the other thing about this offense is I felt like all season they had 2 real infinity stone moments left. Like, if Marcel Reed ever becomes like an elite pocket passer, which I don't even know if needs to be for this offense to score 45 points. It obviously does not. I'm talking about, like, can he sit in there for 40 dropbacks and throw for 335? I don't know. But it doesn't really matter because they've got everything else. You know what I mean? But the other infinity stone, I said there was 2. One is, like, can Marcel Reed beat Tom Brady from the pocket? I don't know if we ever need to know the answer to that question. All right. And the other one was, can they, where do I have her? Oh, the X position. That number 3, A&M fans. I'm sorry. I'm watching 17 million rosters at this point. Names go beyond me, but numbers don't. That number 3, who I believe is a true freshman, is playing X for them. And it's because, it was either him or Jerome Miles Jr. coming off of a knee injury, another true freshman, a 5-star out of Utah. It was one of those 2. And if they ever got anything out of the position, there was really no more answers because they're great at tight end. They're great at running back. They're elite. Probably the best at slot receiver in college football right now with Casey Concepcion and Mario Craver. If they just got any type of 6'2", 205 body type that stressed defenses at all, they were in real, defenses were in real conflict. And that's what they have now. The one-handed grab and run after the catch, and that's a type of, we talk about unlocking plays on this network, right? Plays that let kids know, oh, I can do this. Oh, I am what I think I am. They all talk about it, but they don't know until they go do something like that. And number 3, turning around, sticking that ball one-handed, coming back down, and making a play after the catch. Ashton Bethel-Roman, that's your unlock moment. And if you can have that, they are in trouble. Like, defenses are in trouble for y'all. All right. Now, my question to Colin and to Marcel for that matter is like, why do we feel like we need to grow? Why can't we just let him be him in these football games instead of like getting down into the red zone and being like, hey, let's like really read this stick and nod concept and make sure you give false eyes to the safety. But I'm not really ready to give false eyes to the safety because I feel like I need to confirm the tight end space. And then confirming the tight end space with our eyes ultimately brings the safety over. And then we throw a pick in the red zone. When in reality, we probably should have just been back into some type of quarterback RPO and getting into a 3-score lead. And here's where I would be damned with feeling bad for the other football coach. I'm sorry about this, but y'all aren't going to like me. I'm gonna give a take right here. Hey, y'all need to go play offense until you're up 3 scores, and then you can let him develop from the pocket. But go secure the ass whipping first before we're out here letting the quarterback develop. Do we all understand that? Like, those fourth quarter carries for him should have been fourth quarter dropbacks. And I'm sorry if it makes you feel like you're running the score up on LSU. Who gives a damn? You got a national championship to win. And if you play Ohio State tomorrow, they will make him win from within the pocket. So instead of trying to develop that in the heat of the battle, why don't we develop that once the game is conceded and won? And then let's go give him 10, 15 snaps instead of, I don't know, running him on quarterback Reed up 35 points in the fourth, taking hits. You know what I mean? Like, I know that's counterintuitive. I know that's disrespectful to the other guy on the other sideline, but I don't really care. I don't really care because you're on the run. You're in the mix. You're on the way to potentially playing for a national title. So we better figure all of it out before we get to a game in which he has to win that way. Do you all understand? And I don't think we need to be doing it in the middle of a game in the SEC on the road when it's 18-15. And that was obvious. The second half game plan was, oh, hey, y'all got to remember that Blake Baker is horrendous at quarterback run. Wait until you see the film study I got prepped for you. The whole entire second half, I got notes right here. Blake Baker, note play number 35. This is right after the interception from number 4, straight out of the half. Blake Baker versus quarterback run fits. Holy hell. Next play, see above note. Next play, out leveraged on jet. Next play, see above note. 43, 44, touchdowns. My God, that's all the notes say. And you know what they are? 100% misfits against quarterback run. Every single time. So I gave all the credit. No. We got more credit to give away to this A&M defense. I feel like I can't figure out why that defense has spurts of horrendousness. I really don't. That defense, every time I watch them, they're menacing. Every time I watch A&M defense, whether it be on tape or on TV copy on a Saturday night, I'm like, how in the world do they give up 42 points randomly every once in a while? What is that? Because every time I see them, they look like freak shows. They look like you know what they look like? They look like Brentaville's defense. That's what they look like. They look like controlled chaos. Absolute controlled chaos with a great balance of first off the bus and dudes pouring it out in between the lines. You know what I mean? Like that number 9, the edge rusher from Bowling Green. Holy hell, does that dude look menacing? And yes, that I've said on this network for years, there is a difference and a false sense of realization with regards to offensive linemen. And that video of number 9 taking the mental and physical soul of a freshman left tackle in that football game on the road in the first quarter with verbal altercations is the exact definition of what I'm talking about. Everybody thinks these offensive linemen are tough-ass dudes. And as a former offensive lineman, I'm going to tell you right now, every once in a while, there's a liquor drinker amongst us. Every once in a while, there is a lunatic that was just not athletic enough to play defensive line. But 99.9% of the time, the murderers, the true insane people, the people you got to watch out for and say, hey, let's keep tabs on him when he's off the field. Defensive linemen, not offensive linemen. If offensive linemen had that shit to them, they'd play defensive line. I've said that about this sport for years now, and every time a video like that happens, it confirms it. Every time Aiden Hutchinson is standing in front of an Ohio State offensive lineman telling him, I'm about to take your soul, it proves it to me. Those dudes are lunatics. They're paid to run their face through walls. They have to be crazy. All right, but I don't understand why this defense has spurts of this horrendous play like they seem to do, because they have moments of, wow, look at these guys, right? The defensive line, my God, those two defensive tackles, number 5 and number 17, those dudes have to be 340 pounds, menacing, huge human beings. And then they balance them with these two mountain defensive end edge rushers that stand at like an apex to wide 7. Great football with spurts of bad that I've got to go figure out and understand defensively. All the corners and safeties are long as hell. Big, tall, long playmaking dudes. And all led by college football's Mighty Mouse, which is Torian York. I forget my man in the UFC that goes by the nickname Mighty Mouse, but this is what it reminds me of: a 5'9", 225-pound undersized linebacker that is just death gripping and death vicing every football game I watch him in. You can just toss the screen game out against A&M. Just throw it out. If 21's on the field, throw it out. Demetrius Johnson. There you go. Demetrius Johnson, Torian York, Spider-Man meme. We're going to get 2 Mighty Mouse references today. 2 UFC like Anaconda references on today's show. Ecstatic about it. I want to reiterate that championship stretch. Come out of the second half. 9 plays, walking down the field, touchdown. Oh, by the way, after a massive return on special teams. Then right after that, you give them the ball, punt return, touchdown. Casey Concepcion to the door. Get the ball back again after, forcing another 3 and out. And by the way, another massive chunk on a kick return, and then score another touchdown, and then force another 3 and out. We've watched a lot of championship football over the last couple of years. That's what it looked like. That's what it looks like when it comes to, they think they're in this game. Guys, we're way better than them. How many times have you heard football coaches say that at the halftime speech? Guys, we're way better than them. We just got to go play our game. You're right, coach. You are way better than them, and y'all played y'all's game right there. Now, that's all the credit to A&M. Break out the sharpen the knives. Let's get to work. Let's talk about LSU. Here's the deal. And I've had multiple conversations with people over the last, not just 24 hours, but really the last like 6 or 7 months about this guy. There was a line of demarcation in Brian Kelly's coaching career where he just disassociated himself from any type of offensive game planning, any type of real like offensive coaching, and just became Mr. CEO. I would say it was about 8 or 9 years ago where he was just like, all right, offensive coordinator, y'all just do your job. Defensive coordinator, you do your job. I'm going to walk around this place, and I'm just going to make sure everything's up to a standard and all that good stuff. And I'm just going to not really worried about installs. I'm not going to worry about play calling. I'm not going to worry about really scouting. I'm just going to walk around the building and kind of just be a principal of sorts or a CEO of sorts, or, basically be like the malware, like protection service on your computer. If anything bad in here gets, around the program gets in here, I'm just going to eradicate it. I'm just going to make sure it doesn't happen. But the only problem with their malware service in terms of their head football coach, he ain't had a reprogramming since 2018. This guy, his lone job is to walk around the building and hold everything to a winning standard and make sure everything is at a winning standard. The only problem is he ain't got a gosh darn clue about what a winning standard is. He don't know how to win. So his whole job is to walk around the building and say, oh, we got to be better here. 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 And they're bad in all types of different ways. And the standard, he has no idea how to win. He doesn't know what a standard is. I've watched so many LSU football games on television the last couple of years that I know what Brian Kelly's job is. Apparently, Brian Kelly's job is to pull his headsets down and ask his coordinator, what the F are we doing? That's all he does. That's all I ever see him do on Saturdays. And he don't have to call plays, and he doesn't have to do anything except manage the football game, and he has no idea what his own team is doing. That's all I ever see him asking. Hey, we got what happens, right? We crumble in a 2-minute drill, right? Play calling goes all to crap. What the F are we doing, Joe? Puts the microphone. Don't fix nothing. What the F are we doing, Joe? Puts the microphone back up. Hey, what happens to start the second half? Kick return, punt return, touchdown. The next one kicks it right back to the guy. 45 yards, flips the field again. What's he do? Walks over to his special teams coordinator, puts the microphone up. Hey, what are we doing? What are you doing, bro? Why didn't you go over there before and tell him to kick the SOB out of bounds? We were all thinking it. What are you doing? By the way, special teams coach, I am a forwards hat guy or forwards back guy. I am not a forward or hat on the side looking like a goofball guy. All right? Pick one or the other. Don't do the in-between. Y'all know what I mean? Like, look, I'm not Colin Cowherd. I am not here for that take. Either forwards, Ken Griffey, or don't do it. Or don't wear one. Don't be out here rally capping looking like an idiot when the special teams is giving up all kinds of points. Just going to say that. Not your fault, but it probably is your fault. Tell the kicker to kick the ball out of bounds. The other one, we got 12 men on the field defensively and just giving it up, just out here getting gashed on defense. We got 12 on the field. We give up an inside run to a tight end, like a fullback will dive over the goal line despite the fact that we had too many men on the field. And what do? We walk over to our defensive coordinator, and you guessed it. What the F are we doing, Blake? Here's my problem. Here's my real problem. And people that don't want him fired or don't want to pay the buyout will sit there and say, well, he just needs to fire Joe Sloan. He just needs to fire the defensive staff. He just needs to fire – guys, he's already walked through a whole staff. Guys, he completely wiped a defensive staff 18 months ago. Walked everybody to the plank. Dim Brock wins a Heisman, and he's like, you know what? You can go back to Notre Dame. That's fine. I'll just promote Joe Sloan because why not? His entire job is quality control, and there is poop quality right now at LSU. So what makes you think the next hire is going to go better? He's already chopped 2 staffs. I'm done with him. I'm done with him. I texted multiple coaches last night talking about it. Friends of mine that are climbing the ranks, and I told them straight up, if I ever see you on television blaming everyone else around you, refusing to take accountability like that dude does, I'm going to lambaste your ass. I am going to call you and chew you out because I care about you. And if I were Brian Kelly's friend, that's what I would be doing. I'd be calling that dude and saying, hey, bud, why don't we grab a mirror right quick? Why don't we grab a mirror? Why don't we stop taking vacations during bye weeks? And why don't we start coaching some football? Make sure you hit that thumbs up button, like, subscribe, and rate, reviewing. Let's get on to the next one. On to the next one. Hey, make sure you're giving a quick, I want to give a quick shout out to our friends over at Sleeper. If I don't do this now, my ADD brain is going to keep running through these notes. I'm telling you right now, boys and girls, I hope you don't care about NFL football because we going to be dragging into that 1 o'clock kick. It's going to go long today on a Sunday. Had way too much time to sit down and watch football like the rest of you guys, and I got way too many thoughts. Want to give a quick shout out to our friends over at Sleeper. If you don't know yet, Sleeper is the #1 place for fantasy sports and real money gaming app focused on bringing people together through sports and gaming. Sleeper has become the fastest organically growing fantasy platform in the world with over 6 million active users. Again, use promo code Brooks today. You get a 100% deposit match over there. Those guys have been so great to us here this season, and I really do. As you guys, the newer folks keep pouring into this network, keep pouring up the subscription numbers, I need y'all to pour in over with our sponsors as well over there at Sleeper. Promo code Brooks, 100% deposit match up to $100. Go get in on the action today. Shout out to those folks over there at Sleeper, and shout out to you guys for firing off in the chat. We are absolutely crushing today. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button. Shout out to those guys. Let's talk about Ole Miss getting their top 10 road win. This was the one. This is the one we needed to see from Lane, honestly. We needed to see this type of, I can go on the road. Both of my units can show up. Both of my units can show up in a football game. All 3 units can show up in a football game in which we are, in a rainstorm. There's so much going wrong in that football game for Ole Miss's style of play, and they find a way to win. And first off, let's talk about Lane postgame. Okay, let's talk about Lane postgame. First and foremost, I'm not talking trash to players. That's not me. It's not what I do, but I'm not Lane Kiffin. You know what I mean? I thought it was inappropriate. I thought it lacked professionalism, but there's a lot of this dude that lacks professionalism. You know what I mean? There's a lot of this guy that is not cookie cutter. So it is what it is. Also, if you are a player talking trash to an opposing coach, like, who are you, Gary Bertier? Get your ass back in the huddle. Like, what is this? You're not going to score. Yeah, they are. They're going to score on your butt today. Like, what are you doing? So I don't get the talking trash to coaches. I damn sure don't get the talking trash to players. That's the first post-game, moment that we need to talk about with Lane. The other thing we need to talk about with Lane, did y'all see the Wolf of Wall Street? Did y'all see him do the I'm not effing leaving? I'm not effing leaving. I'm right here. I'm going to stay right here. I don't think he knew the LSU job might come open. I'm just kidding. I said, in all seriousness, I did say this about Lane, and I said this on Dari Noka's radio show Sunday afternoon last week when Billy was fired out there in Florida, and the heat about Lane really started creeping up after the Georgia loss. Right? It's like this seems like a foregone conclusion. The last thing I said on Dari's show was, and I don't mean to get too personal, I really don't, but y'all know how it is. I'll tell you how I feel. As someone who is approaching 3 years sobriety, there is nothing in this world that I would do that if I thought it might compromise my sobriety, I would not do it. You know what I mean? And if he feels like anything about him as a man is due to the fact that he is the Ole Miss football coach and his life is now there in Oxford and everything that is about his life in Oxford, if he thinks that has anything to do with the man that he is today, he cannot compromise that. Not for any type of money, not for any type of national title opportunity, not for any type of recruiting advantage. He can't. Not in my opinion. All right. So if he is indeed going to stay there, that's why, I think. It's not because he thinks it is a place that you can consistently win national titles, which it is now, but it's not. I don't think it's consistently that. I think they have to coach their way to wins. I think that eventually in 2 or 3 years, Oklahoma will have a better roster than them because Oklahoma is high school recruiting. That's my opinion. I don't think consistently building out of the portal is the method, but they're finding ways to win because Lane's that good, right? So there's that. He does a lot of things that I don't agree with, right? He calls his own plays. He builds out of the portal. He talks trash to other players. He is a distraction in front of the microphone. There's a lot of things that Lane does that I do not like, that Nick Saban did not do, that Kirby Smart does not do, that Dabo Swinney did not do in his prime. There's a lot that guy does that doesn't necessarily convene to conventional coaching methods. But that's why he's so fun to watch. That's why I love him so much, even though he does things that I do not like. Does that make sense? I thought the biggest play in that football game was the throw Chambliss made on second down to Winston Watkins. It flipped the field. They ultimately go on to score in that drive. I felt like Oklahoma had all the momentum in that football game at that point because they had finally found some ability to run against an Ole Miss defense that had no ability to stop the run. But for Ole Miss to go into that place, have 431 yards of total offense against that defense, okay, in the rain, on the road, all that stuff, playing slow. Guys, Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss went on the road, scored or had 431 yards of total offense, won the time of possession, and won the penalty battle. That's a different Lane Kiffin. That's a different Ole Miss. That's a different Ole Miss, in my opinion. All right? So I think they are 100%, now that they have gotten past that roadblock, if they just get over the hump of randomly losing to Florida, randomly losing to Kentucky, which I don't think this football team is that this year, though they did struggle against Washington State. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've got to finish the drill, but man, have they gotten to the point at this point in the season and earned the right to be viewed as a playoff team. You know what I mean? Look, let's talk about Oklahoma real quick. The fumble on the punt return is a gut-wrenching play for Oklahoma fans, I would imagine, especially at that point in the football game when number 24, I mean, your bell cow, your heavy back feels like he is just chewing up yardage, absolutely chewing up yardage, and you can't seem to get off the field defensively, it felt like. And then the moment you do, bang, fumble on the punt return. And that's just, man, that's tough. That's tough. But I still do not believe that John Mateer is 100% himself, but it's not an excuse, Ole Miss fans. I'm not excusing the win because the quarterback wasn't healthy, and I don't excuse the loss to Texas because the quarterback was banged up. I'm just putting this out there. And here's the reality, and this is what young quarterbacks need to understand about not having fundamentally clean mechanics. We are going to have to play hurt as football players. There's no doubt. There are going to be times in our career, all the time, like almost every single year in my 19 seasons from Pop Warner to college, all right, there was some point in the season where I did not feel good. There was something wrong with me, right? College football pro players, even worse. You're playing far more of a physical game. There wasn't a single moment in time in my college career where I felt good. Fall camp, first day. After that, the rest of the time you hurt. Your pain tolerance is going through the roof. So here's why this is a problem for quarterbacks that are not mechanically clean. If we are somebody that's fun and gun, loosey-goosey, and we're 65% completion, the moment we have a thumb injury, we become a 57% completion guy. And the moment that we have an oblique tweak, we become a 60 or a 57% completion guy. The moment we have a quad injury that limits us as a runner, now we're only a thrower. You see what I'm getting at? The willingness to play free and loose and not have good, sound, fundamental mechanics, and it showing up when we're 100% healthy, like it does on John Mateer's tape, like it did at Washington State, like it did against Michigan, like it always has with this guy. The moment we have an injury, everything crumbles. We can be fun, loosey-goosey, explosive at 65%. The moment we start spraying it at a 57% completion percentage clip, we now are playing losing football. And we have to change everything about how it is we call plays. And again, I know he's hurt. I know, but he's not injured. He's out there playing. And when we're not meat and potatoes, when we're not chicken and rice, when we have to mix in, when we lose an ingredient, now we're all over the place. You know what I mean? Now we have no consistency. Now we have no stability. Now we have no way to just build drives and stack plays. And that's my opinion on where they're at offensively. Yes, the offensive line is still young. And yes, they lack weaponry at a high-end rate, in my opinion. Yes, all of that. And yes, their window is next year. But this could still happen next year. If we don't, and maybe we're too old. Maybe we're too far down the road. I shouldn't say too old. Maybe we're too far down the road, but I don't believe that. I watched Josh Allen revamp everything about himself in one offseason while already making $100 million. So I don't believe that to be true. I think that he could fix some of these things, and he could build his base at a much higher floor. And then when we ultimately suffer injuries, because we're running quarterback as well, we can balance these things a hell of a lot better. That's my opinion. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button. I mean, serious. This is a good point right here from Susie. I mean, shout out to Susie. Bunch of people watching, not a bunch of people liking. I need you to be elite. I need you to be elite today. And if you're new today, this is what we do. This is what we do on this network Monday through Sunday. So show up, show out, and have a good time. Bama escapes a great South Carolina. I want to start by saying this. How many great speed rushers has this Alabama offensive line, who has really, really struggled with speed rushes, how many great speed rushers have they played in the last 3 weeks? I mean, my God, look at it. It's Zion Young, Damon Wilson, Joshua Josephs, Jordan Ross, Dylan Stewart. Have they played 5 first-rounders in the last 3 weeks? I think they have. I think they played 5 top 45 edge rushers in the last 3 weeks. I think they've played 5 NFL edge rushers in the last 3 weeks, all of which can whip your ass with speed rushes. And this is what these guys struggle with. It's honestly, I'm going to take a swig of this coffee. It's honestly, I shouldn't say infuriates me because that sounds like fandom. It sounds like every time I watch them, FSU, they struggle with speed. Missouri, Tennessee, this week, South Carolina, struggle with speed. Every time I see it, I'm like, hey, why did I not see Chris Cole on Caden Proctor? Not once. Didn't see the matchup a single time. for 4 quarters. What are we doing? You know? I mean, good God. Get a safety down there and let him run around the guy. No shit. There's one, the Ryan Williams play, that is a scrub over there. And I hate to do this to South Carolina. That is a nobody over there. Just running around number 74 on play action. Didn't even touch him. Ran 15 yards in a loop around that big joker. What are y'all? Just do that. Just do that. You will get around 74. But God forbid, don't ever run at him. If you try to run through that guy, he's just going to eat you. Like he does donuts, apparently. I mean, he's going to eat that guy. That's not a fat joke. He likes Krispy Kreme donuts. That's my first point. They only allowed 2 sacks in that football game, did Alabama. But I felt like those edge rushers from South Carolina, particularly Dylan Stewart, impacted every single pass play in that game. The amount of times Ty Simpson had to step up through smoke and either scramble or check the ball down was ridiculous. And by the way, if Alabama cannot find ways to consistently run the football against halfway decent run defenses, they will continue to sweat football games like that. There's just no doubt. They become so one-dimensional. They don't feel as if their run game is efficient enough right now. They're chasing explosives. They're chasing offensive efficiencies so much so that they're dropping back 40 times because I play on time, my quarterback's going to find answers is their running game. It's like 30% of their running game. And honestly, again, not to tie this into a Georgia segment, but that's what Georgia was last year, and it ultimately cost them a couple of times. Like they are so dependent upon the quarterback making good decisions and stacking plays and remaining in efficient downs because they can't run the ball that they ultimately become this like, oh, we're gonna 5-yard hit you to death until we can open you up enough to gash you. And I don't know if that's like you're gonna have to consistently win these games in the fourth quarter if that's what it's gonna be, because the only games in which you become balanced and explosive and you don't have to drop back 45 times are in the games in which you actually create offensive balance. And the only way you create offensive balance is if you feel like you're not running the ball for 2.5 yards a carry. And that's what it was. So in the second half, y'all are just like, all right, spread it out. Just let Ty do his thing. Now, the good news is they ran the football halfway decent in the final 2 drives. And I think that was the difference because they could remain some type of balance in that football game. But they played their worst football game, I felt like, in 7 or 8 weeks. Did they, as an offense, right? I felt like, I mean, here's an example. 2 third down, well, one of them was a first down, but 2 plays. Ty Simpson misses Jeremy Bernard on a dig route, second window, right over the middle of the field on 3rd down. The dude would have ran for 45 yards, just overthrows it. Nobody in his face, not like a hand that he had to over account, not an underneath defender that he had to get over the ball or the ball over, like nothing. Just sprayed it, just missed it. He hadn't missed that all year. Out of nowhere, uncharacteristic. Speaking of uncharacteristic, first drop of the season for Jeremy Bernard. Like just uncharacteristic things. Like getting beat by speed rush is your characteristic. That is who you are. Not being able to run the football, that is who you are. But dropping balls and, well, Ryan Williams, dropping balls from Jeremy Bernard and Ty Simpson missing open wide receivers, not you. Not you. And you survived a game in which you were not yourself on the road. Right? Now, how did you do that? Well, South Carolina kind of gave it to you. And that's unfortunate for South Carolina. I mean, I felt like a couple of plays down the stretch. But first and foremost, Alabama's not in the position to win that football game without the defensive score. If Rashul Fajan catches the football, or worse, just swat the damn thing down. I mean, incomplete pass. A worst case scenario, we punt. Instead, Alabama's got 7 on the board. Catastrophic. So that I think that goes by the wayside when you watch the end of the game. But that right there, gut-wrenching, right, to start the football game. You find ways to crawl out of that. But your best football player doesn't have 2 hands on the football and on a critical short yardage down late in the football game, and Deontay Lawson strips it out. And that's on you, right? That's not them. Yeah, Deontay Lawson makes a great play, but put 2 hands on the football. You know, like you've done everything at that point in that football game to win. and you don't seal it. And I think you have to live with that as a football team. That's the way I would talk to my football team. That's the way I would say, look, here's the deal. They made the 2 biggest plays in the game on the defensive side of the football, and we did not. That was the difference. We could tell ourselves we were better than them all day today, but we weren't. And I don't understand. Y'all need to learn. All y'all need to learn. All you fans, as if y'all have never watched Alabama football in the history of your life. Why are you moving down close to the field as if you're about to storm that bitch? What are you doing? What are you doing? Come on, man. Don't. Ooh. Y'all, it's like y'all ain't watched the last 20 years of football. That's bad juju. Don't be out here doing that. Be out here doing that. You got to rip their hearts out and stomp on the MFer. You can't just bleed the clock out. They don't just die a slow death. You got to rip them. You got to reach down in their soul and take the Holy Ghost up out of them. Otherwise, they're going to kill you. Man. Tough. Speaking of tough. I'm not going to talk to Mississippi State fans because I think they're in a hole hiding. So we're just going to talk about Texas in this football game. And I think our Bulldog fans will be okay with that. I don't think they're here. And if they are, please correct me sternly in the chat. But I would imagine they're probably in a cave somewhere. All right. Texas comes back. Longhorns win it 45-38. Outscore Mississippi State 24-0 in the final 9.5 minutes and overtime in this football game. Blake Chafin scrambles, kind of hits a little flip of the pitch, okay, to the running back, Devon Booth, who then goes 62 yards to the door and a score. 38-21, 12.5 minutes left in the fourth. I send the tweet. It's time to talk about Texas losing out. Boy, did they go on a run after that. I think I'm going to start selling my services. You know, you can Venmo me, and I can tweet in a positive light for your opponent, and then inevitably the wheels will fall off the wagon. All right? Or I don't think it works negatively. I can't tweet negatively about things because that just sticks, right? But if I say, for example, Texas, time to start talking about losing out. Actually, it did work negatively. Texas, time to start talking about losing out. Boom, 24-0, final 9.5 minutes. Unconscious. I tweet about Tennessee's defense making explosive plays weekly. Kendrick Law, 81 yards to the door. I mean, like that. So A&M might have broke the curse. Shout out to Aggie J. Maybe A&M broke the curse. I don't know. But 17 points, blink of an eye, bam. And then, second play, overtime, bam. First off, this is the second game in the last 3 weeks in which Ryan Niblett, the punt returner from Texas, has completely changed the outcome of the football game. Oklahoma, I don't think they win that football game without a special teams return. And this football game, they definitely, damn sure, do not win without Ryan Niblett returning it for a touchdown. So here's the deal moving forward. Don't be kicking to that SOB. That Texas A&M game at the end of the year ought to have 20 punts that get put into the damn stands. You ought to have souvenirs left and right in that football game on special teams. Just don't even dare. Hell, go out there and just throw it out of bounds. I mean, who gives a shit? Just don't give it to the punt returner. Because, my God, just games getting flipped on their head by the punt returners in these football games. But Arch was dialed down the stretch of that football game. It's a damn shame that he got knocked the F out, and he got knocked out, okay? Knocked cold. Number 44, a 240-pound, like, edge rushing stand-up backer. Like, they play a hybrid front out there. That dude's a defensive end. He launches himself at the back of the crown of Arch Manning and just sandwiches his head in between the turf and a body. And it's immediately lights out, roll over. Ow. Yeah, Peter Griffin. But that kid, I don't care to be fans of teams, but y'all know I'm a fan of people. I'm a fan of football players. Arch Manning, you have a fan in me because of the way you play football. You, son, are the definition of what people would call a football nepo baby. And you play football as if you're ready to die today. There is a 4 or 5 play stretch in that football game where they're coming back. He is just delivering strike after strike after strike while his body is completely being crumbled. Completely being crumbled. He's got no help. None. He had Ryan Wingo and Wisner in that football game. That's it. And he managed to fight and scratch and claw and get his way back into that football game. There are so many clips in which that guy has 4 or 5 humans all over his body and the arm is just winning. We're going to show you as soon as the producers get in here after this show of just dot after dot after dot in which he has no business getting the ball off. And for every person that was like, ha, 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 y'all fell victim to the name, y'all have not seen the level of high-powered NFL caliber, arm talent, holy hell, how did he throw that ball type of throws this dude has made in his career already. There are so many elite arm talent throws that this guy makes. It had everything to do with his name, but it also had everything to do with the fact that this is the most talented, physically talented Manning that has ever rolled off the assembly line. Eli and Peyton were big and smart. They were not super talented. They would, if they played today, they would be labeled game managers. It's the honest to God's truth. There would be no different when Peyton throws 4 interceptions. The internet would make him Carson Beck. I know that's crazy, but a goofy looking pocket manager quarterback that can't do much with his legs, that can't really impact the game with his legs, that throws occasional picks in tragic football games as a young football player. I just described Peyton. You know what I mean? Peyton has multiple games in his college career where he lost because Kirby Smart picked his ass off 3 times. This kid is far more talented than his uncles. Far more talented. And if he ever figures out how to get protection around him, good God Almighty. I felt so bad that there are probably some Texas fans that have watched offensive struggle some points. And then the backup comes in against Florida, throws a dart. Then the backup comes in against Mississippi State and throws a dart. And there's probably some jamoke on YouTube somewhere today talking about, hey, good news, Arch got hurt. This backup looks great. This football team is Arch Manning's football team. It better be. I don't care what that backup does. I don't care if that backup goes out there. Peyton never lost to Georgia. My bad. It happened when I was 4. Good correction right here. I appreciate it. We love hard coaching. But he did get picked off a bunch in his young career. The analogy is the analogy. You know what I mean? Pocket quarterback, limited athlete, elite accuracy, occasionally randomly pops up 4 interception football games. Did I just describe Peyton or did I just describe Carson? Now, I don't think Carson's going to go on to be one of the greatest of all time. That was the mental advantage that Peyton had. And guess what? I think his nephew might have it too, and some physical gifts. That's why I bought the stock. And that's why I was okay with looking like an idiot for 6 or 7 weeks. Because eventually he was going to grow out of it, and it looks like he might have. Now, there's still some horrible misses. Like the Ryan Wingo miss on a slant, RPO. I think it was Ryan Wingo. Maybe DeAndre Moore, whoever it was, or DeAndre, whatever the number 0's name is. Maybe a bad miss on an RPO slant. But other than that, absolutely dialed down the stretch of that football game. Great win, in my opinion. I think that is a win that you are happy about if you're a Texas fan. And you circle back into everyone's mentions that was doubting your football team like I was, and you say, ha, 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 nana, nana, boo, boo, you're an idiot. That being said, I mean, this is a horrible loss for Mississippi State. A horrible loss for those guys. So I'd have to go back and watch the results of it, but I think that when you run that style of offense, that I'm gonna run fast and run and do everything at cocaine pace, you have a tough time closing out football games because you don't playing slow. We don't play slow. How do we play slow? What is this? You know what I mean? Completely out of your gourd with regards to what you normally do. Now, I'm not saying that's why you lost the football game or that's why you went stagnant offensively, but y'all's whole entire system is predicated on, oh, we got a first down, let's go. Now it's, oh, we got a first down, let's slow. And that's not how y'all play ball. So it's very hard, in my opinion, to find ways to ice football games like that. Let's talk about this Vandy and Missouri game. What a yuck fest. I felt like that was watching two jiu-jitsu specialists fight for a UFC title. You know? Bantamweight. Like a BMF award. You know? Not even like a real championship ring. There's 17-10 rock fight defense. Gross. It's like 400 yards of total offense. Nasty. Like I make fun of Big Ten Iowa games for this. I mean, shit, Iowa scored 38 points this weekend. This was gross. This was painful to watch. That's why I got third screened with no audio. And eventually someone was going to have to take the football game, especially once Bo Pribula went down, and Vandy literally took the football game. There's a mesh point late in the game. It's 10-10. Number 8, the linebacker with blonde dreads, comes off the corner and literally takes the football game. Did LSU just fire? I see, LSU is doing it in the chat. Every time I get off of one of these shows, they fire a football coach. So make sure you're letting me know if any actual news happens today, because I'm, off the phone. But I mean, just watching two guys that are like laying on the ground and they're like, you want to take it to the ground? You want to wrestle? You want to jiu-jitsu? You want to do some jits? And then they just jits their way into a fourth quarter football game that nobody's really happy to watch. And then Vandy takes it. Vandy takes a mesh point, literally runs to the mesh point, number 8, steals the ball from Missouri and a young quarterback in Zollers and the running back. And then next thing you know, Vandy goes on I kid you not, 9-play, 44-yard scoring drive that lasts, this makes no sense, 5 minutes and 10 seconds. I believe there were multiple incompletions on that drive. They had 9 plays, and they marched off 5 minutes and 10 seconds. There's 45 seconds in between each snap. I don't even know how that's mathematically possible. So that was that game. Now, after that score, it's 2 minutes left on the clock, and Matt Zollers, the true freshman's got to go 85 yards in a 2-minute, 75 yards in a 2-minute. It's just like not going to happen. Now, it almost happened. A Hail Mary almost got it there, but I just feel bad. I feel really bad. You have to feel bad for Missouri fans who, are in the moment of that football game. They feel like they should have a chance to win it, and their starting quarterback goes down. And then after that, it just feels like, it's not just our first starting quarterback to go down either. Damn, Sam Horn broke his knee up. First play of the game, or first play of his career or season this year, and now we're down to our third quarterback. But here's why I don't feel sorry for Eli Drinkowitz. I'm not going to sit here and allow you to woe is me this thing the rest of the year. You have $1 million quarterback. That's what Matt Zollers is. And for those that don't know, guys, Matt Zollers is the top 100 football player last year in that cycle. Matt Zollers was highly, highly touted. Matt Zollers was either going to go to Georgia or Missouri. Okay? And he chose Missouri, and they paid him good money, and he's a multi-million-dollar quarterback. I'm not going to feel sorry for you to have to go out there and play with a talented quarterback. That's not an excuse to go out here and play and yeah, he's young, and it is what it is, but you know what I mean? Like, it's bad luck. It is. But it's not like you're starting some walk-on right here, coach. Like, you got a really, really talented kid and a good offense. And by the way, you were having to lean on run game to win anyways with the transfer. So I don't feel as if this is some major excuse for Missouri fans to chop the season up and say, oh, well, if we lose out or if we don't finish strong, it is what. No, that's not what this is. This should not be a woe is me thing. This should be a let's buckle up and let's go find ways to lean on defense and run game. Oh, shit, like we've already been doing. So I want to put that right there and be like, hey, no excuses. That's the way I look at that. Now, man, golly, this kid, this young man has made me go from hater, shut your mouth, you're at Vandy, to hell yeah, I'm standing for you, dude, to now, bro, what are we doing? What are we doing, Diego Pavia? We have 149 yards of total offense, have an interception, and score 17 total points in which our defense gave us the ball at midfield, and we still took 9 plays, 44 yards to score. Okay? What are we doing going to a microphone after 149 yards of total offense, scoring 17 points, telling the world, hell yeah, I deserve a Heisman? What? Buddy, that's your time to get in front of the microphone and tell the world that it was a team win. What are we doing? Like, I don't even have to talk about the chains and the why are we still wearing wired headphones? Like, what are we doing? That's a moment in time where we have an opportunity to go in front of the world and say, this was a team win, and watch your PR points go through the roof. This is a guy who played way too much 2K and just spammed the negative, it's all about me responses, and just kept not paying attention to the prompt and not paying attention to his PR score go down, 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 down. It was your chance, man. It was your chance to win so many people over, so many people that doubt you. Like, y'all could be such this lovable, like, you're not even an underdog in this story anymore. This lovable, unlikely story in college football. That's what y'all could be. But instead, of course I deserve a Heisman. I had 149 yards of total offense today. Tennessee wins at night in Lexington, 56-34. Never a real doubt in this one here for me, but part of me wanted Kentucky to continue to score because I think Aguilar could have thrown for 600 yards in that football game. 20 completions for 396 yards. That's 19.8 yards per completion. 19.8 yards per completion. I think they had 5 50-plus yard receptions in that football game. I had Jay Will run the stats. 5 50-yard-plus receiving plays in that game would have them ranked 32nd on the year in explosive metrics. In one game. They were more explosive in one football game than 70% of the sport on the year. Wow. It's just a miracle. It's a miracle what happens when that offense has somebody that can throw a deep ball. Yeah. It's almost as if like someone told you all off season. It's like, hey, I think this kid's got a chance to be better. Will Dyer in here throwing up the U. Good to see you after that. I don't know if y'all saw that, but that was the defense just continuing to give Miami's offense opportunities to score, and Malachi Toney continuing to give them short fields. But that was a slop fest. And I understand why you're showing up doing the U because you won 42-7 because nobody was there and nobody was watching. So it is what it is. Slow, ugly start. If Stanford had any type of offensive pulse, you guys might have been in trouble in that football game. But you win it 42-7, and the world's like, oh, Miami rolled. Not the football game I watched. Not the first half I watched. And again, great job by the defense, creating turnovers, creating short fields. Great job by Malachi Toney, creating short fields. Great job. But, sloppy. I thought it was sloppy, me personally. Hey, how about the Big Ten being slap boring and going chalk? Big Ten fans, are you here today? I doubt it. Known as an SEC like affiliated show, or at least all we talk about is SEC. That's not my fault. That's your league office's fault. They won't let me break down your tape. They want all the licensing on their own. They do not allow content creators like myself to even produce content about their program. All they let me do is talk about them. So all I do is talk about the games in which they win by 30 points because that's all this conference produces. So let's talk about it. Indiana destroyed UCLA. Oregon won in a rainstorm. I think that game would have been 42-7 had it been sunny and cloudy. Instead, it was raining, just pissing cats and dogs all over the place. It was a sloppy 21-7 win. Cool. All great. Michigan gave up a garbage time score to make that one a 10-point game. Those frauds in Illinois will be traded out in the rankings for those Washington folks. Washington, Illinois, same football team, same exact football team. They beat the hell out of the bottom of the Big Ten. And then when they play anybody with a talented blue chip roster anywhere inside the top 25 with regards to talent, they lose. So when they play each other, it's just about home field advantage and big plays. And that's why Washington won. But, I mean, you look at it, Washington got just absolutely skull-drugged by Ohio State and Michigan. And then you look at it, Illinois got absolutely skull-drugged by the quality opponents in that conference as well. So, like, they're the same football team. You know, they're the same football team. Indiana, Oregon, and Ohio State are great. The rest of you are Kentucky. Football schools that don't spend enough in you're Kentucky. Basketball schools that don't spend enough in football to be competitive at a national level. And then there's Michigan and USC that are 8-4, which we can't quite figure out. They have budgets and willingness. USC doesn't have the fan base, but have the budget and the willingness to be national title competitive, but aren't right now. And then the rest are just, you know, versions of Maryland and Purdue. Penn State, we ain't Kentucky. Yeah, right now you have a worse record. Oh, I think. Let me fact check that right quick. No way. No way. Impossible. But maybe. Oregon is not good. Y'all are crazy. Oregon's really good. I got side quests to hit on. Hugh Freeze, man. Hugh Freeze. First of all, DJ Durkin, you got to pull the homies off to the side and be like, hey, boys, you can stop the opponent, but don't score. Don't score. Don't whatever you do. Like, let's get off the field. Let's stack the reps. Let's get paid, boys. But we can't be pick-sixing. We can't be giving ourselves opportunities to win. We have to be giving the offense opportunities to lose. You know what I mean? We can't be doing this. I'm trying to get an interim job. We're trying to get this guy out of here. What are we doing? You know, that kind of thing. Hugh Freeze paying $1.5 million for Jackson Arnold is crazy in and of its own right. All right. Absolute insanity. Nothing about that kid's Oklahoma performances ever told me he was going to be great, worth $1.5 million. Nothing about his high school career told me he was ever going to be able to process and like really go through reads and play the position. He was just a really talented, physically gifted football player. There's a million of those. Okay. But nothing about this kid's career ever told me he was worth $1.5 million first and foremost. But nothing about that system ever tells me anyone's going to succeed in perpetuity, right? His pick six is a prime example of why I despise Hugh Freeze. Because Hugh Freeze has everyone in Auburn lore thinking Jackson Arnold is the problem and thinking that their coach just can't win tight football games. But in reality, that pick six is the exact dichotomy of Hugh Freeze offenses. We're in the red zone. We're in 12 personnel. They're in man-to-man coverage outside. We have an RPO called, an RPO in which we're going to ask Jackson Arnold on the left hash to turn his back to that comeback over there that's running 12 back down to 10 in man-to-man off catch coverage, okay, with an ability to drive down on a comeback and go back the other way because they're in man-to-man coverage. I'm going to have him turn his back to that dude, which is a hard throw as is, and then ask him to flip his hips, not be late, and not miss inside. Pick six back the other way. Ugh, Jackson Arnold sucks. Sit him. We just need great quarterback play. Screw you, dude. I'm so over you. I'm so over you. Georgia Tech is so real. So real. They have an identity. They are Vandy with a deeper passing bag. That's what my notes say. Guys, they had 8 players yesterday with a catch, and they had 8 players yesterday with a rush. That's depth. That's depth. That's creativity. That is hard to stop. That is, even if they don't have blue chippers, which they're starting to get some because they're recruiting the state of Georgia really, really well, right? Like doing things like winning Isaiah Canyon over Georgia, that's huge. I don't know how good Isaiah Canyon's been for him, but that is for them. But that's just one example of guys that are great high school players in the state of Georgia that prior to Brent Key would just be additives to Georgia's roster. They would be second, third stringers. And now they're starters for Georgia Tech, and they play meaningful downs, and they play meaningful snaps, and they win, right? That's why Georgia Tech is where they're at. It's not just offensive creativity. It's also everything that they've done inside the building to make sure that they are the second best team in the state of Georgia and maybe 1B right now. And if you are the second best or 1B football team in the state of Georgia, you will be a top 10 football program. I know that's crazy, right? But that's the facts. If Georgia's going to be a playoff football team and you are 1B in this state, you will be a playoff football team. Crazy. The high school talent in this state is just way too damn good. And they have, and I kind of made fun of Brent, but I kind of questioned Brent's hiring practices when he first got there because he hired nothing but long in the tooth high school football coaches on his recruiting staffs in the state of Georgia, just legends in this place. You got the dude from North Gwinnett, got a dude from South Georgia, Lee County, just pulled up just like old guys that have just been spending years and years and years cultivating talent in the state of Georgia and then just building those relationship beds out in the state. And they're hammering in-state recruiting. You're going to win. That's the way I feel about it. BYU is undefeated, and I think Kalani Sitake is the most underrated football coach in college football. He's on his way to his 4th 10-win season at BYU. And Bear Bachmeier is built like John Lynch. Have y'all seen this guy? There was a video I sent to the boys the other day or yesterday. This kid's lower half looks like he's been on an oil rig for like 6 months before he got here. This dude's calves are like cinder blocks down to his ankles. He's just like one thick torso down to his shins. It's insane. He's like 6'3". He looks like he's 250. I mean, he's 6. I don't know how tall he is, but I think he's listed at 6'3", and he's built so compact, he looks 5'9". You ever seen one of these guys? You ever see one of these guys at 6'3", 240, but they're built so solidly that they look like they're 5'10"? That's what this guy looks like. I mean, whew, that boy is thick. You know what I'm laughing at? I'm laughing at all these people watching the stream right now that haven't hit that thumbs up button, but I'm laughing at all these open jobs. Honestly, you cannot be feeling good if you're Penn State or Florida right now. You can't. And here's why. And I tweeted about this yesterday. Matt Rule is doing everything he can to not get that Penn State job. I mean, they look like poop again against Northwestern at home. We go 2 straight weeks. By the way, did y'all see how bad Minnesota is? I'm not a transitive property guy, but we look like crap last week against Minnesota. Score what, 6 points? Iowa was up 35-0 at half against them Jamokes. Wow. And then you try to lose to Northwestern. What? You're about to get an 8-year deal out there at Penn State. You and your buddy have already backdoored that job. You might as well go ahead and tell the world you're taking it because it sure as shit looks like you're coaching like you have. Wow. I feel bad for Nebraska fans because that dude had you believing that this was the – if I don't finish here, I'm going to finish at the beach. I'm out here starting podcasts and taking Big Ten jobs. Woo! Lane says he's staying. So Siggs already signed a contract. Eli Drinkowitz about to falter down the stretch at Missouri with a backup quarterback, third-string quarterback. If you are looking at the landscape of college football coaching right now, who is the best hire? Who is the surefire candidate? Because I think we've learned from watching Bayou Billy go down there in Florida that everybody should question every single mid-major coach that ever gets promoted. So whether it's John Summerall, whether it's Alex Golish, whether it's Matt Campbell Light down there at, or not Matt Campbell Light, whether it's Cody Campbell Light down there at Memphis, which that's what I'm calling the Memphis football coach. I refuse to learn your name. Sorry, but you have $20 million at a mid-major school and nobody else has money. So you are Cody Campbell. Like, you are the Texas Tech Raiders of the mid-majors. So, yeah, you should probably beat South Florida. You know what I mean? Like, that's the way I feel about Memphis football. Y'all have way more money than everybody else because FedEx gave it to you. So, yeah, you should go out there and win. I hope you do. But, no, I'm not going to sit there and say that your football coach should be up for these jobs. And that's probably why his name is not up for these jobs. Seriously. Like, in a holistic standpoint. They will hire Summerall, they will hire Golish, and then they will think about hiring the Memphis guy. And in my opinion, that's how it should be. So there's that. We good on that? I think we're good on that. Hour 15. We better be good on that. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Hit that thumbs up button on your way out. I love you. Bye. Oh, Super Chubs. Let's hit Super Chubs right quick. Aggie J says 8-0. Gig 'em Aggies. Attaboy. How about them Georgia Bulldogs not letting the bye week destroy us in the first half? Amen to that. Amen to that. Summerall to LSU. Hey, look, here's the deal. This show is a death sentence. Somebody's going to get fired as soon as I hit end stream, and I hope it's Brian Kelly. We'll see you. Nah. All my homies hate Hugh Freeze. All my homies hate Hugh Freeze. We'll see you. Bye.